This is the reminder move for ATM lesson number 195, heels under the pelvis number 5, Japanese sitting. So please lie on your back with both of your arms on either side of your body and gently scan yourself for the spaces in which your body lifts away from the floor and where your body presses down into the floor. Now gently place both of your feet standing on the floor, and with your hands pull your right ankle underneath your pelvis with the toes standing. And begin to push the right knee forward a few times by leaning on the big toe and the second toe, and pull on your ankle with your hands. Now, make sure that you pay attention and put your heel in between your buttocks. Now, so not on the outside. It's going to be right dead center in the middle of your pelvis. And then leave this alone and do the same thing with the other leg. Pull your left heel underneath your pelvis. Stand on your toes. Hold onto your left heel with both of your feet. Hold onto your left ankle, rather, with both of your hands. And gently begin to drive your knee forward. And then pull both of your heels underneath your pelvis. Attach your two heels together on the inside, and with your two hands, pull on the front of your ankles and move your knees forward. Lean on the head back behind, and your knees will eventually approach the floor. They don't have to touch by any means, but they'll just approach the floor. And then leave this alone and rest for a moment. And come up to standing on the knees and put your heels together. Lean on the toes and spread your knees apart. Place your hands in between your knees, close to the body. And in this position, make a movement so that you can move your pelvis backwards, and your knees will come up off of the floor and then return to touch. So as your knees lift up off of the floor, drop your head down, round your back, and then come back and lift your head. Now come back up so your knees are away from the floor, only this time allow just your right knee to go down towards the floor, somewhere in between your hands, while your left knee moves out to the side, and then return and come back. And then begin to put your left knee in the middle of your hands and take your right knee sideways. And continue to alternate side to side. Now, keep your hands in the middle, sit on back both on your heels, and slowly lift your arms forward. And as your arms are forward, start to allow your right knee to go down towards the floor and then come back. And then your left knee to go down towards the floor and then come back. And then leave this, lie on your back and rest. Now, come back up to standing on your knees and extend your toes backwards. So the knees are spread, the legs are spread, and with the right hand, lean on the right heel. And bring the toes, your right toes, in closer. And then take them back to the place. So you're just moving the right toes in, and then you're coming back. And then leave this for just a moment. Stand on your left foot and try doing the same thing. So bring your right toes inward with your right hand, help the heel, and then slowly try and sit on the right leg while it's folded. Sit on the heel, sit on the foot as the toes go inward, and use the weight of the body to fill the roll of your hand. So your hand is no longer turning your heel in and out, but your body is pushing on your heel and driving it towards the outside. And then leave this alone and rest for a minute. Then you can switch your legs over, bring your right foot up to standing. Take your left knee back. Now with your left hand on your left heel, begin to turn your left heel in and your left heel out. And as you turn your left heel in as far as you can, leave it and begin to sit back onto your left heel. And as you sit back onto your left heel, use your body to drive your left heel towards the outside. And then leave this alone, lie on your back and rest for a moment. Now come back up onto your knees, spread your knees apart, fairly wide, place your 2 feet on the floor with the big toes touching each other. So your ankles are somewhat bent towards the inside. And lean on the hands in the front and sit back on your heels. And as you sit back on your heels, slowly try to lift your eyes and lower your head. And then come back up. Lift your eyes and lower your head. And then rest in this position for just a moment. Now with your right foot bent in that kind of that right angle, with both of them on the floor, place the left foot inside of the right foot. Now with the left foot inside the right foot, begin to slowly extend your right arm backward behind. Move it further and further away. And put your right hand on the ground with the fingers in the direction of the legs. Now begin to bend your elbow and like this, go down towards the floor. So bend the elbow and go down to the floor and then return. Go down to the floor and then return. And as you come back up, rest in neutral and then switch your feet over. So this time place your right foot inside of your left foot. And then place the left hand on the ground. Your fingers are pointing forward towards your legs. And then lean backwards towards your left elbow and then come back up. And leave this in rest for a moment, just on your knees. Now go back to having your heels underneath your pelvis. And you don't necessarily have to have the heels together, but to the extent in which your knees kind of come forward, the knees are spread, heels are somewhat together, and in this position, don't lift the head. Now with the 2 hands, catch the right ankle, and lift the pelvis a bit from the floor. Place the right foot in a right angle from the body as before and place it on the floor. And extend the toes of the right foot to the left. And then with this foot underneath the body, lie down on your right foot. Only the right foot. The left foot standing. So you're catching your right ankle, lifting the pelvis a bit from the floor, and sliding the right foot underneath your pelvis at a right angle. And then come back. Now stand your right foot up and do the same thing with your other leg. So catch your left ankle with your right hand, or with your left hand rather, and do the same thing. And begin to pull your left ankle underneath your pelvis. And then leave this alone, lie on your back and rest. Now come back up onto your knees, spread your knees fairly wide apart. Place your right foot inside of your left foot. And put the left hand behind your body, next to the pelvis. The fingers are forward. Now lift the right hand above the head towards the ceiling. Bend the left elbow and go down towards the floor. And continue moving the arm above the head and move up over towards the other side. And then go down onto the other hand, onto the elbow, and then switch to the other side. Leave this alone and then lie on your back and rest for a moment. Now while lying on your back, pull the two ankles underneath your pelvis as before. So lean the pelvis solidly on your heels. And then flatten the left leg and the left foot underneath the pelvis. And then take it out and bring it back. Take it out and then bring it back. And then do the same thing with your right foot. And then leave this alone. Stand up on your knees one last time. Spread your knees wide apart. Place your left foot in your right. Sit back on your heels. And with your right elbow, go down towards the floor. And then come back up on over and lean on the left elbow down on the floor. And come back on over, lean on the right elbow, and then lean on the left elbow. It's another variation on how to open up your feet and your ankles while opening up the front of your knees and the front of your hips. So it's a great sequence that you can mess around with. So leave me a question, or leave me a question, some comments down below. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great night.